I am having an affair, a beauty affair. On my journey through slowing down the effects of aging, I am jumping into rabbit holes and blasting my way back out with knowledge that I want to share with you. Come follow my journey, learn with me, and let's get younger together. Hello, and welcome to Beauty Affair, episode 103. This is Lindsay Aliseo. I am your hostess with the mostess. So today I am bringing you, Tyler, an ingredient bomb. Today we are going to talk about PFAS and glycolic acid. So it's a double bomb today. And you'll see why towards the end when I tie it all together. And it's a little crazy. So before we get into it, I want to talk about, we'll talk about this one sitting next to me in a second. But before we get into it, we need to introduce Stacy. Stacy is my lash of the day. I am wearing Aliseo lashes, Stacy Lash. She is flirtatious, she is full, and she has that 3D volume that makes you fabulous. AliseoLashes.com is where you can buy Stacy Lash. And don't forget your viscosity clear liner, ladies. Okay. I would like to introduce, this is a last minute thing. So a last minute thing. This is my cousin. I'm going to do her whole bio first, which I just pulled from her website. None of this was planned. All last minute. So I would like to introduce Dr. Sierra Mcdonald, AUD.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so who is Sierra? She's a doctor. She's an AUD, which is she received her bachelor's degree from University of Florida and graduated with a Doctor of Audiology degree from the University of South Florida. Go Gators, right?
Go Gators.
Go
Gators.
There you go. She is an avid Gators fan. Avid? Is that the right way to, Is that the right way to say it?
Avid is appropriate.
Okay, thank you. You know I like to make up words and what they mean and where they're supposed to be appropriated.
Spreadable?
Spreadable, yeah. This
Spreadable.
morning we were doing spreadable. Okay. So Sierra is my cousin. I don't know if I said that. I think I did. She's staying with me. She's up from Florida. And I decided I wanted to bring her on today just for perspective, for outside perspective. So Sierra's a little bit crunchy. What would you say on the crunchy meter, like from 1 to 10? Where are you?
10 being the most crunchy.
The most crunchy, yeah.
So I'm probably 6.
Okay.
Maybe a 7.
A 6 or 7. I'm going to say that I myself am probably like a 3.5. Maybe like a 3.75.
But probably on the makeup side. Definitely
on the
more
cosmetic side, yes. And the personal care, skincare, and yes.
Right.
So, for those of you that are watching for the first time, the reason that Beauty Affair came about was because of my horrific skin disease, seborrheic dermatitis. And about a year ago, I'm not going to do the whole story because I'm going to bore you. I've told you a million times at this point. But because I had this thing and I couldn't put anything on it, and dermatologists were giving me X, Y, and Z, throwing stuff at me, probably didn't even know what they were throwing at me. Their pharmaceutical rep said, hey, try this. And they tried it on me and it didn't work. It made it worse, which was miserable. So I went down that rabbit hole and found natural stuff that I could use to relieve the pain and the itching and all of it. So just like you see, if you're watching on YouTube, you could see the pictures in the intro, like how miserable my face was. And now look at it.
So beautiful.
Porcelain doll. I'm a porcelain
Loving
doll.
it.
Thanks to my friend Sharon Grasso and the BBLs. Permanent Touch Cosmetics. There's a little plug for you. We love Sharon. Okay. So anyway, I brought Sierra on today to get a little bit of perspective. Again, she's on, would you say a 6 on the crunchy scale?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Okay. So, me being a 3.5 to 3.75, and you being a 6, we're going to have different outlooks on things, or we may see things differently. And I'm just excited to see what my cousin has to say. Yes, she is a doctor, but she is not a skin doctor. She is a
audiologist.
Yes, doctor of the ears. Okay, so Sierra, did you know that the federal cosmetic laws have not been changed since 1938?
That is insane.
Right? I told you that. Did I tell you that
Last night?
For the first time, you never knew that, right?
I'd never heard of that. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, to think about since 1938, what have they been doing? Now they have the ability to recreate ingredients, to synthesize.
Right. The technology is improved, obviously, and they should incorporate that.
And how come the laws are not matching?
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So my thoughts exactly. And I would assume everybody's thoughts exactly. And, actually, wait, let me look at my notes because I have it in here somewhere. My notes are a hot, stinking mess right now. I have links everywhere. And by the way, I will have, when I air this episode, I'm going to have all of my research links available so you can dive into those rabbit holes yourself. Who was it? Susan. Where is Susan? Susan. Where are you, Susan? Somewhere in here. Oh, there she is. Okay. So a bipartisan Senate bill seeking to ban. Okay. So this goes into my next thing, the PFAS. But I wanted to talk about, because we're talking about 1938. Last June 2021, Senator Susan Collins from Maine took initiative. Her, and again, it was a collective bipartisan bill. Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut, and they are actually taking action against PFAS, which we're going to talk about that in a second. But yeah, things are starting to get done, but it's just happening so slowly. And I mean, 2022, how many years?
Right.
It's just, come on.
It's time.
What are we doing?
It's been time.
It is. And that's what, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. So, and that's why I'm here, and that's why we're doing Ingredient Bomb. So let's get into this. After I slug some water. Okay. So Forever Chemicals. And you said you heard of them?
I was unfamiliar until we talked a little last night.
Forever Chemicals, also known as PFAS. What are they? So PFAS are pre- and polyfluoroalkyl, fluoroalkyl substances. Why do we want to know about this? So here, I'm going to start with this. Did you know that DuPont, very big, well-known company, who I don't even think they're called DuPont anymore. They've merged and separated and did all these things. But back in 1946, DuPont created what we all know very well as Teflon. Do you remember back in the day when there was all
Isn't that what they used in like pans and pots?
Yeah. Yes.
And we're using that on our face.
Well, I'm going to explain. I'm going to get into it a little bit. But do you remember there was a point where your pan would like start to chip and you're like, don't eat that. Make sure you get rid of that. That's poison.
Right.
And it's like, well, why are we cooking on it?
Exactly.
Like, really? So,
why? Literally poisoning ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, it's
on purpose.
And it was like a big scandal situation. And we were still using, Teflon. And I don't remember what year that was when that started, but excuse me for the cold and the snotting. So Teflon is considered as one of these hazardous PFAS. It's made of using several of the PFAS compounds. DuPont they literally created these compounds. They were never in the world. It's a man-made thing. And DuPont introduced them into the world. And because of him introducing it into the world, it started to spread. It started to get into water. It started to get into the air. They have found it now in far corners of the world, not even just in the U.S. And you can find traces of PFAS in everything. And here's the thing. Why is it called Forever Chemicals?
I have no idea why.
Because they don't go away. Forever Chemicals do not break down. They stay in your body and they stay in the environment and they don't break down and they're toxic at certain levels. And if you're constantly using them or drinking them or breathing them in, the toxicity is there. It's high, So, and it's so hard actually at this point. It's so hard to remove it or to gauge where it came from, and if it was put in, some of them, if it was put in intentionally or if it was unintentionally, just a side situation because it's already in the environment or it's already in other products or, so it's a scary thing to think about, right? So, okay. So, hold on. Let me look at my notes here. Okay. So they don't break down. This is why we call them Forever Chemicals. Now, in 2001, there was a scandal in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Forever Chemicals were found in the air and the tap water of the town. Guess who was at the center of the town?
I have no idea who.
A DuPont plant.
Ah, well.
Yes.
That makes sense.
It was a big thing, big scandal. The reason I'm bringing this up is going to tie into the end, so stay with me. There is a movie called The Devil We Know. If you're interested, you can look up The Devil We Know, and it'll tell you all about the scandal, all about the movie. But what I do want to point out is during the class action suit, they uncovered that DuPont knew that everything was tainted. Yep, that the water and the air and it was toxic. And they didn't tell the community, the people that live there.
Greed. Corporate greed. That's terrible.
It's horrible. They didn't tell their employees. They didn't tell any, police, government officials, people. They just literally kept on going, knowing that they were poisoning everybody around them. And again, this is going to come back in the end, and you're going to understand why I'm explaining, and we're talking about pots and pans, okay? On a beauty show.
A beauty show, of course. Pots and pans.
Pots and pans on a beauty show. Aren't we past that, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, so the other thing, talking about DuPont and Teflon, cosmetics. I wanted to bring this in. So, okay, hold on. Reverse. DuPont also makes chemicals that go into your cosmetics. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. It took me a minute. I got there. So DuPont does make chemicals that go into your cosmetics. This is crazy to think that, okay, ready?
And are those Forever Chemicals in?
The Forever Chemicals are in your cosmetics.
Nice.
So wait, listen to this timeline. 1946, DuPont introduced Teflon. That's not that long ago.
No.
So since 1946, someone said, let's take this chemical or these chemicals, these compounds, these PFAS, and let's put them in cosmetics, even though there's a scandal surrounding them.
Ways to make more money.
I mean, who said that? And who was the first person that said, who was the first person that said, let's try using a toxic chemical in the makeup to see if it does XYZ? The thing is, Teflon, what these PFAS do for your makeup, starting to get all stuffy. Let's see if we can get through this. Why are PFAS used in cosmetics? I'm going to read something that I actually found on the FDA website.
Okay.
Right? Because why not? Because we want to go to the source and we want to go to the government pages here. Which, by the way, I will always give you information. If I found it on a vanity website or vanity magazine or a fashion beauty magazine, I'll take that information and then I start doing all the research and I go to the government pages and I go to Ivy League research pages. I go to Skin Deep website, National Library of Medicine. I go to all of these accredited places just so you feel comfortable with what I'm telling you. Because I am not a doctor. I do not have certifications.
You just play one on this podcast.
I just play one on the podcast, exactly. So where were we? Why are PFAS used in cosmetics? I'm reading right from the FDA website. These PFAS are used in cosmetics to condition and smooth the skin, making it appear shiny or to affect product consistency and texture. The label. Okay, so they're also using it shiny. Does it say anything about it? They're also using it in a lot of waterproof mascaras. I think that's one of the biggest ones. Waterproof mascaras. It literally, those are the chemicals that allow.
It binds it.
Those are the chemicals that allow the water not to penetrate.
Yeah,
and break it down.
Sense.
So, what other?
It's like what they do with food with the preservatives.
Yes,
Not good for you, but it helps keep it for longer.
exactly. Well, you'll see in some of the other stuff. I mean, not today, but if you listen along, Sierra,
Yeah, I will.
you'll see. Subscribe. You'll see that there's so many preservatives in your cosmetics and skincare that don't need to be there, and those are the potentially harmful or usually harmful things that that we need to watch out for.
I wonder if that's why I get the breakouts is from that stuff.
Yes,
That
fragrance is another big one that you find unnecessarily find in cosmetics and skincare. There's tons of different, mineral oil. Mineral oil has been banned in a lot of, unless it's I don't have it. It's 3 letters, DUP or something. I don't remember what it's called, but it has to be a certain degree. So, did you know that do you know what mineral? We're going.
We actually do recommend, or I have mineral oil to use in the ears for ear itching.
Okay.
I had no idea that there was an issue.
It's a derivative of petroleum,
which is not good. Same thing they use in our gasoline. Yeah.
Exactly.
Ooh. Okay.
So, but there are ways to use mineral oil safely. There is a regulation for that, so you have to look it up. I think it's they call it DUP level or something. I have to look it up again, but yeah, it's interesting. So back to the preservatives. So the preservatives and all that, yes, is probably what's hurting your skin, or if there's fragrance. And I mean, we could look at whatever makeup you're using, and I can tell you from the ingredients what most likely was the culprit. And that's how this started. Because I was doing that.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, it's fun.
When we get back, you'll have to take a look at my stuff.
Yes. After we'll have some wine too. Okay.
Yes,
so,
please.
We should be drinking some champagne right now. All right. What time is it? Is it too early? No, never too early. Excuse me. So, okay. So, waterproof mascara, foundation, because it helps spread and it helps. It helps it smooth out the skin. It helps with the consistency of the texture, and shiny if you want. I mean, foundation's not supposed to be shiny, but so you can find these PFAS in these products. So what can you look for? And okay, so let's get back to, before we get to what can you look for, the Senate bill that I talked about earlier. They're finally, so in Maine, where Senator Susan Collins is from, they have already taken initiative and banned PFAS in all cosmetic products. I have to say, is it cosmetic and skincare? I think it's cosmetic and skincare, but obviously they have to give everybody enough time to work it out. So I think they have until 2030 where the bill will be complete and it will be in effect, and they won't be allowed to sell any of these products anymore. Yes. So hurrah for Senator Susan Collins and her Senate
bipartisan team.
Thank you. I know I was going to say constituents, but that's not what the word I was supposed to use, so I didn't.
Good girl.
But hurrah for her and everybody else that she's working with to bring this bill. And they started in June 2021, so almost a year ago. It takes a long time to get this stuff going, but thank you for getting it going. Thank you for getting it on the table.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about, we've talked about where you can find it in your cosmetics. Let's talk about where the cosmetics that don't have them, the cosmetics that have taken action already. So you can find Ulta Beauty has a made without list, and it's Conscious Beauty at Ulta Beauty. So if you go to ulta.com, you can find it within my links, and you can find their list of products that they sell, and they don't actually. So here, this is funny. I found this actually on their list. At the bottom of the list, they must have put this into play in the past couple of years, this Conscious Beauty at Ulta Beauty made without list. And they won't stock anything that has these harmful ingredients that are on their list. But if you go all the way to the bottom, there is an asterisk. And it says, I quote, Conscious Beauty at Ulta Beauty standards do not apply to products on clearance. So something, because they're phasing it out.
Oh, gotcha.
And obviously they're not just going to lose their money.
Right.
But they're letting you know what the deal is.
Right. Clearance.
Clearance.
Then you know.
So be careful. If you go to Ulta and you go to clearance, that doesn't mean that they're going to be clean beauty. Just something to know. Sephora has a clean list as well. And they just updated their clean list in the past, I think it was July 2021. And they added the PFAS. It wasn't on their list originally. They just added it in July I would assume after the bill went into the Senate.
And if they see Ulta and others,
now they're following along. So they got on the train. Took them a little bit, but good for them, right?
Absolutely.
I can tell you specifically. You can go to these lists and you can find these products, but I can tell you specifically that I did find L'Oreal has been phasing PFAS out since 2018. And they are scheduled to be completely phased out in the next 2 years, from what I've read. And let's see. Okay, so something interesting that I found. I don't know where I found it. I might have the link. And I can post it. But I don't even know if this is true. But somebody said somewhere that you can test your makeup at home. And because
test it for
PFAS.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. So if you have waterproof something, let's say it's a foundation, it's a mascara, lips, or you find it in your lip stuff too. Take it and smear it on excuse me, a piece of paper, something that's porous. Smear it on, make a nice smear of it, and then take a couple drops of water and just place it on top. Leave it there overnight. When you come back to it in the morning, if the water is still sitting on top, you probably have PFAS in your makeup.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't tell you that is 100% true, but
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we could try it and then ask questions after, like, hey, what's going on here? I'm getting all sorts of nasal right now. So, I urge you to type into a search, which cosmetic brands have PFAS? Have fun in your rabbit hole. Tyler, I think it's time for a commercial. We'll be back.